Berserk might possibly be one of the most misunderstood status elements in Horizon Forbidden West. Its use is definitely situational, but in the right situation, it can be extremely powerful. So let's break down everything you need to know about Berserk and put together a build designed to help you maximize its potential. I guess the only question left is...
Now you wanna get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
But let's back up and start by first talking about what Berserk is and when and why you'd want to use it. When it comes to combat in Horizon Forbidden West, there are a lot of different options. And sure, you could just use your bow and arrow to gradually take out machines, but where's the fun in that? Berserk is basically an updated version of the corruption that we got from Horizon Zero Dawn. It's a status element that by itself doesn't do any damage, which means you can basically shoot animals with it all day and it will have no effect. Pretty cool, right? But when the Berserk state is built up in a machine, the machine will attack whatever is closest to it, whether that be Aloy or another machine. And typically when a machine is in the Berserk state, it'll become the target of other non-Berserk machines. It's a great way to introduce a little chaos and confusion when going up against groups of machines. Let's burn this mother down! Which is something you deal with a lot in the Forbidden West and especially in the Burning Shores. Similar to elemental states like Frost and Shock, each machine type has a threshold for the buildup of Berserk. Smaller machines have the lowest threshold, and larger machines have the highest. And once inflicted with Berserk, it'll last for 30 seconds. Now Berserk does also work on human enemies, but their tolerance for it is pretty high, and once it's built up, it only lasts for 10 seconds. So it is definitely not worth using on human enemies. Using Berserk often gets compared to using a Machine Master playstyle, which focuses on overriding machines. There definitely are some similarities, but also some important differences that are worth diving into. So let's take a look at Berserk versus overrides. In round 1, let's look at requirements to use. Overriding machines requires that you complete cauldrons, and new to Horizon Forbidden West also requires that you collect certain machine parts to craft the overrides. But with Berserk, there are no requirements other than acquiring a hunter bow with Berserk ammo, which is definitely easier to come by. For round 2, let's talk about stealth. Overriding machines requires at least some stealth since you have to get close enough to a machine in order to override it.
I fear you're underestimating the sneakiness, sir.
This can be a little bit tricky, especially when going up against groups of machines, which is where it's most useful, and also when playing on higher difficulties like Ultra Hard, where machine awareness is higher. Berserk, on the other hand, can be inflicted from a distance. But hold on a minute, time out. Berserk does seem to have a strange relationship with stealth. Smoke bombs, for example, which are one of the best ways to immediately go into stealth, don't work on machines when they're in Berserk. The only way to quickly go into stealth when using Berserk is to break line of sight by running away. So we'll say that this one is a wash. Round 3, Apex variants. Overrides don't work on Apex variants of machines, whereas the build-up threshold for Berserk works the same for both Apex and non-Apex variants, and it lasts the same amount of time. Round 4, Friendliness. Unlike Berserk, when you override a machine, it doesn't immediately try to kill you. Round 5, Status Length. Overriding machines last longer. With the lasting override skill, overrides last for 40 seconds at their base and are permanent when maxed out at level 4. Round 6, Strength. Through skills like Machine Damage and Machine Elemental Plus, overridden machines can become really powerful, especially elemental machines like Claw Striders or Bristlebags. Round 7, Knockdowns. Machines tend to knock down other machines at a much higher rate. This is something that works whether you use Berserk or an override, and knockdowns can be a really powerful way to inflict damage, so it's definitely something we're going to want to take advantage of. So the winner of our head-to-head matchup is... Overrides. But despite that, and because this video is about Berserk, I still prefer to use Berserk. Personally, I think that it's just a bit more flexible, and I like the fact that it can work on any type of machine. But if you have a preference, be sure to let me know in the comments. But okay, now that we've got that out of the way, and we're all in agreement that Berserk is the absolute best, let's talk about how we can get the most out of using Berserk, starting with your weapons. There's a couple of different hunter bows that we can use that come with Berserk ammo. The Berserker Hunter Bow can be acquired through the Seeds of the Past main quest, and the Martial Hunter Bow can be acquired for Champions tokens in the arena.
Earn more medals and the rewards will be great.
But the absolute best Berserk Hunter Bow is the Emperor's Reign, which you can buy in the Burning Shores. Not only does the Emperor's Reign give us the highest Berserk of any of the Berserk Hunter Bows, but it also comes with plus 40% knockdown damage, and we already know that machines knock down other machines at a much higher rate, so using a bow that comes with additional knockdown damage makes it a lot easier to take advantage of those knockdowns when they happen. So now that we've got our weapon, how about coils? The Emperor's Reign comes with 171 Berserk, which will do a decent job instantly inflicting Berserk in small machines. But if we want to build up Berserk in one shot for medium machines, we want to get this number to around 250. We can increase Berserk through coils like the plus 9, plus 12, and plus 15% Berserk coils. In my build, I'll only be using 2 plus 15% Berserk coils. Using the double or triple notch weapon technique, I find that this is typically more than enough to build up Berserk in just 1 or 2 shots in most medium-sized machines. Now the Burning Shores also gave us the Elite Berserk Coil. With this coil, enemies have a 5% chance to immediately enter Berserk, which basically turns any non-elemental weapon into a Berserk weapon. Berserk Shredder? Check. Berserk Spike Thrower? Check. Berserk Sharpshot Bow? Check. But while this coil is fun to experiment with, it is not the most practical to actually use. Okay, so we have our weapon, and we have our coils, but what's the best Valor Surge to use? The Burning Shores gave us the Berserk Blast Valor Surge, which is probably my favorite new Valor Surge, and does have a few advantages over just using Berserk ammo. For one, it instantly inflicts Berserk on an entire group, which makes it a really great option, especially when you have a group of machines that includes one big bad machine. Number 2, Berserk lasts for a full 60 seconds instead of just 30 seconds. 3, once Berserk state is over, the machines will go into a confused state, which potentially gives you another window that you could take advantage of. But in my opinion, the best Valor Surge to use in combination with Berserk is the Chain Burst Valor Surge. The Chain Burst Valor Surge creates a damage chain between machines within a 15-meter range. This also applies to elemental statuses like Berserk. You can also activate Chain Burst in stealth and inflict Berserk from a distance. This makes it a great option for taking advantage of the damage buffs you get from stealth, while also being able to inflict damage on the entire group. The Chain Burst Valor Surge paired with Berserk is probably one of the best ways to deal with groups of machines. And if you're interested in more tips for dealing with groups of machines, I made a video about it, which I'll link in the description below. And that is absolutely everything you need to know about using Berserk. Unless, of course, it isn't. And if that's the case, let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, be sure to subscribe for even more Horizon content. Thanks, and I'll see you on the next one.